Hi everyone and welcome back. This practice today will be a fairly gentle flow class, and for the practice you may want a couple of thick yoga bricks at the top of the mat. I'll demonstrate with that, but you can always take your fingertips to the floor and bend your knees more and take out those bricks. And we'll start in an elevated seat. So I've got a nice big thick blanket underneath my seat and we'll begin with a little contemplation. So you can sit comfortably, you could sit kneeling, however's comfortable for you, and start to roll your shoulders. So forwards and up and back and down. Could be big movements or small. You can exhale out of the mouth and start to notice your breath. You may even close your eyes. And then lift your shoulders up and around your ears like you're super stressed. And then let them drop kind of quickly. So let's do that again. Roll your shoulders up around your ears. And then let them drop. And then let's invite some half circles into our head and neck. So you can roll your nose in a big smile. Roll your right ear over your right shoulder and your left ear over your left shoulder. You can deepen your breath. And let's try to go for a big circle, like you're describing or drawing a circle with your nose in front of you. And you can test out how far you want to go backwards with that. Notice if your neck and shoulders want to get involved in that movement. And then let's come to center with our head. And either look down at the floor or close your eyes for this part. And just notice whatever's got a hold of you. So whatever pain you're experiencing or have experienced. And we're going to begin this practice by saying thank you to those defenses. Thank you for showing me. Thank you for trying to protect me. And we're going to continue with that. The invitation here is to tell whatever pain you're experiencing that you're actually okay right now. And just notice how that feels. I'm okay right now. And then bring some awareness to your own breathing. And notice where you feel the breathing. Is it in the abdomen perhaps, or the chest? Maybe around the nose or mouth. And in today's practice, we are going to explore playing around. So the movements or suggestions, there's really no expectation on what happens. Play is voluntary. Play is active rest. So it's leisurely, it's casual, it's fun. So we're going to invite that in. Okay, let's open our eyes if they're closed still, and we'll tip ourselves over to the right. So opposite of me, take a big left side stretch with your left arm up. You can even bend your elbow and wing it back behind you, or make some freeform movements with that top arm. You could even imagine you're like seaweed. Noticing your breath, finding those little nooks and crannies that feel a little sticky. And then we'll press with our bottom hand, come all the way up through center and tip it over to the left. Let's let that right arm come up. You could hold your head. You could even keep your right arm down, or you could explore those bent elbow movements and moving the spine, the chest, and that top arm. Maybe linking the movements with your breath. One of the great things about practicing at home is you don't have to do what I'm saying. You can do something else. You don't have those outer pressures that you might have in a class to follow along. Can make it yours really, truly. So you can press down in that bottom hand and come all the way up to a seat. And let's get off of our hips and come onto our hands and our knees here. So maybe you're moving that prop over to the side and with your hands flat or maybe your forearms on the ground, start to notice this all fours position, and you can shift a little forwards and back. So shifting your hips back and forwards. If your arms if your hands are on the ground, go ahead and straighten your arms as much as you like, and notice if you can feel a bit more into the wrist as you go beyond that 90-degree angle with your hand and your arm. Can tuck your toes under. Maybe for some folks you're feeling a little stretch in the top of the feet. And notice what's going on, your contact with the ground. Sometimes it's just nice to feel that you're here, pressing down into the earth. Then let's do a cat-cow movement. So you can untuck your toes, tip your pelvis forwards, and drop your belly, drop your heart, and look forwards or maybe even up. Explore this. Take an extra breath in this arched position. And then we'll tuck the pelvis under, round the spine, push the ground away, and tuck the chin looking at the navel, and explore this. Take an extra breath, pressing your hands into the ground, pushing the floor away from you. And then let's go one breath per movement. I'm going to invite you to inhale, arch your spine, and exhale, round your spine. But you could change up the breath. You could add in an extra breath. You could take one away. And when you link breath and movement in your own way, check out how that makes you feel. Or check in. All right, let's come to neutral here. You can shake out your hands, replace them a little forwards, tuck your toes, and press back to a downward facing dog shape. Let's pedal out the feet. So take one heel to the ground as the other knee bends and the heel comes off the ground, and then shift side to side. You might even be sort of shifting your hips left and right. Add a little playfulness to this, whatever that means to you. You can even really tip your heels in one direction and feel a side stretch, and come up onto your tippy toes and tip your heels in the other direction. Okay, let's center out our feet. And we're gonna walk our feet towards our hands. And if you had blocks, you could grab them, put them on their high level as you walk forwards to a halfway lifted position. And then inhale, lengthen your spine here. And exhale and fold with a big bend in your knees. Let's do that again. Inhale and lengthen out. Your fingertips might be on your shins. And exhale and fold, let your head dangle forwards. Let's come up halfway, inhale, lengthen out. And exhale, fold. And then maybe start to straighten your legs any amount and notice, are you holding extra tension? And you can explore the intensity in all of these shapes as far as you'd like to go. And you can also explore bringing playfulness in, that casual sense, that leisurely sense. There's action, maybe a lot of action, but it's restful. Restful in the mind. Let's take our arms out to the sides here. Weight the heels, so you might bend your knees, and circle all the way up. Describing a big circle, your hands might even go behind you, squeezing your shoulder blades together. And then look up and exhale your hands down by your sides. So nice. Okay, we'll introduce our flow here. Inhaling, the arms circle out and up. And then let's exhale, bend the knees and fold. Take your hands to the blocks or to the floor. And then we'll take our right foot back into a long lunge. And here I'm going to walk the blocks more underneath my shoulders. Start to shift forwards and back, feeling out through the soles of your feet a little, feeling both feet equally weighted. Take a breath there. And then we're going to step it forward. So it could be one giant step where your right foot meets your left, or maybe a couple of steps forwards. 1, 2, inhale, lengthen out through your spine. Make it your breath. And exhale and fold. Weight in the heels, bend the knees, circle those arms back and up. When do you get to expand your chest like that? And exhale your hands down by your side. Other side, so let's take the arms back and up. Inhale, circle them up. Exhale, fold forwards, find your blocks or the floor. On your inhale, the left foot goes back into that long lunge. Walk your blocks back and start to shift forwards and back. Feeling both feet, your connection to the ground. Feeling your torso. A little playfulness here. You can step it forward, so maybe a couple of steps, finding your buoyancy to the top of the mat, and the inhale lengthens you into that halfway lift, and then exhale and fold. Let your head go. Circle those arms back and up, reach up, maybe look up, and release your arms. So nice. Okay, we'll go right foot back again, so arms back and up. Expansion. Fold forwards here. Gratitude. Right foot back into that long lunge. Walk those blocks back. Shift. And now we're going to walk our hands and pivot our feet out to the right into a wide-legged forward fold. So start to spin your toes to the right. Walk your blocks all the way around to the right and parallel your feet. Let's inhale here and exhale, start to fold into a wide-legged forward fold. Some of you can walk those blocks way forwards and have a little elevation. It's like you're in a very wide foot downward facing dog. If you're on your fingertips, you can walk those fingertips forwards, maybe into a big Y position. You can even bend into one knee and then the other. So exploring hip movement, a little side to side, lateral shift of your hips. Then let's walk our hands or our blocks that they're underneath our shoulders. Bend the knees, take your hands to your waist and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Weight in the heels, come all the way up to stand. That's it. And then turn your left foot out and your right foot stays where it is and sink into a warrior two position. So sink into your left knee, bend your left knee and open your arms out to the sides. And let's stay a little and observe. So noticing how far do you want to bend that front knee? What are you feeling? And notice if you can kind of step into your own fearlessness a little bit with that playfulness. So how far would you like to go to sense into your movement, your sensation? You might even kind of bounce in it a little bit, see if that helps increases your sense of safety in the movement. Push into your feet a little. Nice. Okay, let's reverse the warrior. So right hand down the leg, left arm comes up, out and over. And we're gonna windmill our hands to the floor, and I'm actually gonna grab those blocks. Windmill our hands to the floor. Turn the back foot onto a pivot. And then it's one step or those bouncy little steps towards the top of the mat. Lengthen out and fold. Let your head go. Okay, weight in the heels, circle those arms up, make it yours. Maybe look up, maybe a little back bend even. And then exhale your hands down. Other side, so arms go out and up. Fold, gratitude. Left foot back into that long lunge. Okay, pulse forwards and back a little. And then we're gonna walk our hands, this time I'm not gonna take my blocks, over to the left. Turn the toes so you're in that wide-legged forward fold. Okay, here you can walk your hands forwards, maybe widen them out. You can stay up on your fingertips and you're welcome to let your head hang, maybe bend your knees a little, maybe do some side-to-side movements. So make it yours. And follow that playfulness for you. And then we'll walk our hands back under the shoulders. That's it. Bend the knees a little, weight the heels, and take the hands to the waist. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, and up you come. Come all the way up. Turn your right toes in, and start to sink as much as you like into that right knee. You can open your arms out to the sides. So you might bounce into it a little, feeling out your knee. See how far you'd like to go with that sense of playfulness, rooting down. You could even try picking up your right heel a little and dropping it down. Let's take one extra breath here, observing, testing things out. Grounding. Maybe using your breath to release any unnecessary tension. reaching into some of those places that we might not reach into in our everyday life. Let's reverse our warrior here. So we'll back hand down the back leg, circle that top arm up and over, and we'll windmill the hands to the floor. Okay, so you could take your blocks, your fingertips to the floor, turn that back foot onto a pivot, maybe a big step this time, or a couple little steps. Top of the mat, inhale, lengthen out there, and exhale, fold, let your head go. Circle the arms back and up, maybe a little back bend even. Release your hands down by your sides. So good. Okay, let's add on to that. So we're gonna circle the arms up, look up, and fold forwards. Hands to the floor or to the blocks. Right foot back. Start to shift a little forwards and back. Okay, we're gonna walk ourselves all the way over to the right. Turn our feet so our feet are more parallel, and walk those hands out. Hammocking your upper back, let your heart melt down any amount. You can bend your knees, maybe shifting side to side. Checking in, does movement support you? Find your joy, find your edge, or does stillness support you more? Does it support you to push into the ground or melt into the ground? And how's your breath there? Okay, let's walk our hands more underneath our shoulders. Bend the knees, hands to the waist, squeeze those shoulder blades together and come all the way up. Good, this time we're gonna turn our toes out and turn our knees out and start to sink into a wide-legged squat. So sink in and then come back up. Let's sink in and come back up. You might slide your hands out to your knees as you sink in and come back up. So let's sink in now, and you can keep pulsing into that, or you can stay a little and shift a little side to side, kind of tracking that knee over the second toe. You can even turn your fingertips down on your knees and turn one shoulder down to the floor and look over that opposite shoulder. Come into the center and switch, and notice what that does to your upper back. Nice. Okay, let's come into the center. If you're feeling it, let your hands come out. So you're sitting, sinking down into the squat for a couple breaths. 1. Maybe smile a little here. 2. Good. Sink a little lower if it's there for you, and then stand up there. Okay, we're gonna fold forwards. Tighten your kneecaps a little bit. Maybe bend the knees a little. Tip the pelvis forwards and see how it would feel to fold forwards and take your fingertips to the floor with your knees and your toes pointed out. And you can again shift a little side to side. Maybe you tip that pelvis forwards and test out folding your head down to the ground a little more. Checking out where you feel sensation there. You can go for it a little into that sensation and ask yourself, how are you going to feel later? And you can press into your hands here, and now we're going to walk ourselves all the way around to that front foot. So we're back into a lunge shape with the left foot forwards, and then maybe that big step, or maybe a couple of those bouncy little steps to come forwards into a forward fold. Okay, let's come up. Weight in the heels, circle those arms up, maybe find a little back bend, even look up. Circle the arms down. Beautiful. Let's do the other side. So we're going to open up those arms, look up, fold forwards. Hands on the blocks or on the floor, left foot back, shift a little forwards and back. Find your own flow here. Walk yourself all the way around to the left side of your mat. Parallel your feet. Maybe walk your hands forwards. Hammock your upper back. Move as slow or maybe as dynamically as you need to. You can shift a little side to side. Every exhale, you've got a chance to let go there. Every inhale, reach out into those unfamiliar places. Find something new. And then walk back, your hands underneath your shoulders. Bend your knees, hands to your waist. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Come all the way up. And relax your shoulders. Okay, let's turn our toes out, turn our knees out, and start to sink in and come back up. Sometimes I like to put one hand on my abdomen and one hand on my back. To check out that I'm not overly bending from my back. It's okay if you do that, but I like to see if I can isolate the hips. So it could be an exploration for you to play with, keeping the spine fairly neutral as you sink into the hips. So now you might slide your hands out to your knees. Maybe explore sinking in a little more. Yeah. And you could even turn those hands in on your knees, shift side to side. Maybe you got a little spine pop on the other side when you roll one shoulder onto the other. You can go really slowly. If you're scared of making movements, that's totally normal. If you move slowly, then you might be able to explore those movements a little. Lean into your sense of safety. Then you can explore with that little bit of playfulness that you have. Okay, let's come on up from there. If you want, a couple breaths, testing out the squat. 1. You've got this. Push into the ground. 2. We're gonna straighten our arms, come on up, tighten those kneecaps a little, and explore folding forwards here. So tipping the pelvis forwards a little. You could do a little and then come back up. Maybe you do a little more. You could also kind of come out of it and grab your blocks. Find the floor if you like. Maybe keep tipping that pelvis forwards and let your head go. You can also bend your knees, tracking those knees over the second toes. Maybe for some, you fold a little more, aiming your head for the ground, noticing sensation here. What's going on with your breath when you bump up into some more intense sensation? And if you slow your breath down, how does that change things for you? You don't have to stay in that, but check it out. Let's walk our hands back underneath our shoulders, coming up halfway if we're down. Walk all the way around to that front foot. And this, that couple of steps or that big step forwards into a forward fold. Circle those arms back and up. Open the front of the chest any amount. Maybe look up and release the arms down. So nice. Inhale, expand, arms out and up. Exhale, gratitude as you fold forwards. Okay, we're gonna inhale the right foot back. Shift a little forwards and back. And then walk the hands all the way around to the right and hammock out your hands. So walk your hands forwards like you're doing a downward facing dog and let your head hang. You can bend your knees, shift side to side, find and lean into any sense of playfulness, any sense of safety. So likely you're on your own doing this, or you're with a friend and you can really move like you. Add in things, take them away. You can walk your hands underneath your shoulders here. Bend your knees, take your hands to your waist, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and come all the way up to stand. Back into warrior 2. So turn your left foot out and sink into that. You might widen your stance a little bit. Sink into your left front thigh and open your arms out to the sides. Let's take a couple breaths there. And if you've been moving a lot, check out a little bit of stillness, a little bit of settling into your feet. Okay, so let's start to pop up onto those left toes. That's the invitation. See how that feels? And then drop the left heel down. Let's do it 2 more times. Pop up, explore that, and drop down. Let's do it 1 more time. Pop up, and then drop down. Okay, now we're gonna heel toe that back foot in. So bring it in a little closer so you have a shorter stance in between your feet. Now we're gonna try to bend into that front leg, and your arms can do whatever they want here. And pop up and off that front foot. And then land back down. Okay, so if you want to be by a wall to sort of support your balance, you could do that. Just check it out, see if you can, and if you need to walk that back foot in a little more, that's great. Or if you want a little bit more challenge, then walk that back foot like way wide. See if you can come on up and then land. Have a little fun with it. It's okay if you're falling a little left and right. Wavering is to be expected. You can open up your arms even. You can even take your arms over your head and play with it. Okay, so if you want to make it the stance a little shorter, let's play around with this. Let's see if we can lift up and balance a bit. So you can use your arms to support that and then drop back down onto that front foot. How's that feel in your hip? So lift up, see if you can balance it a bit. And drop down. So here's something playful. You can maybe check out if you can lift up and then hold on to your knee and come back down. If you want to play with it a bit bigger movement, you can lift up and see if you can hold on to your foot even. And maybe as you're making that dynamic movement, you hold on to your knee or you hold on to your foot. So if you found yourself balancing on your right leg, can you lean forwards and take that foot? Could be on the inner knee, could be on the inner thigh, into your tree. Could be on the inner ankle. And let your arms come up. Maybe a big Y, maybe they come up over your head. And let's reverse that movement. So wherever you are with your tree, you can float that leg and land back into it. Big giant step. You can heel toe your back foot out. Sink into your warrior two. And just notice how you feel. Is there warmth moving through your body? How's your left hip feel? How's your right hip feel? Maybe sink a little lower, invite yourself to find a bit more of an edge, but with that sense of safety and playfulness. So good here. Then let's reverse that warrior. Right arm down your leg, left arm reaches up. Circle those arms to the front of the mat. Fingertips press or come onto your blocks. Turn your back foot onto a pivot. And you can take that big giant step. Maybe for some of you, even take a big step into a standing like split. And then fold forwards. Circle those arms out and up. Maybe a little back bend, expansion here. And exhale back to center. Let's try the other side. So we'll circle those arms back and up. Make it yours. Just add in whatever you need to, right? So fold forwards. Left foot back into that long lunge. You can shift a little forwards and back. And we're going to walk it out to the left. So walk it out to the left. Hammock out your hands and your upper back. Bend your knees. Explore stillness or movement. Notice your breath. Whatever you're doing, that is enough. Showing up is enough. Imagine you're pressing your hands into your feet into a big sea of compassion that's coming back up into your body on your exhalation. Walking your hands back underneath your shoulders here. Bend your knees, hands to your waist, and let's come all the way up, squeezing those shoulder blades together. And warrior two to the right foot. So turning your right toes out, right knee bends. Can widen out and find a nice long stance to start. Take a couple breaths. Explore shifting around if you're bumping into pain or intense sensation. Find a space with it that you're exploring it a little. Sending compassion to it, sending thanks to it. Moving around, adjusting as you need to. Okay, so let our arms drop down. We're gonna heel toe that back foot in, just enough. Actually, we're gonna start with popping up onto those right toes and then dropping down. Just exploring, how does it feel different, this right side from the left? Pop up, and we'll drop down. Let's do one more time like that. Pop up, and drop down. Okay, now let's heel toe that back foot into wherever you want to, and we'll start to shift our weight from our front foot into our back foot. Little pops. Have some fun with it. So you can come in as much as you need to with that back leg. You can make a bigger stance if you want, really making a bigger leap. And you kind of got to go down into that front foot to come back out of it. So go down into it, weight that foot, and then weight your other foot. A transfer of weight, some momentum. And you can do whatever you want with your arms. You can circle them up, you can straighten your front leg, you can bend it. Then the play is, let's see, how would it feel to grab your knee? Like grab your knee and balance. Maybe for some of you, select few, you feel like grabbing your foot, straightening your leg, karate kicking out, whatever you like. And then if you grab your knee, can you balance? And then maybe you lean forwards and take that foot to where you want it to be for treat. Could be the inner ankle, inner knee, inner thigh. And can you find a moment of balance there? And falling out is part of balance. That's how we find our balance. Fall out, come back in. Can you feel a little widening through the left foot? And there's so much light dancing in here today, and I'm watching all this light dancing and feeling all my wavering, this dynamic movement. There's a stillness underneath it. Okay, let's reverse that. So we're gonna float. Maybe it's a big giant clumpy step or like a soft step back into our warrior two. Nice, let's widen out and sense into our warrior two. How does it feel now? Is it invigorating? Do you feel tired? All is welcome. Okay, let's reverse that. So reach up and back and then circle the arms down to the blocks or the floor. Pivot your back foot and you might take a big giant leap or a couple of steps forwards into your forward fold. Okay, arms out and up, come all the way up. Look up, reach up, and release your arms. Nice, okay, so I'm just gonna turn to you for this part. We're gonna do a little bit of dynamic movement. So this is gonna be a rejuvenation twist. And I learned this in an ashram and they called it rejuvenation. I never forgot that because I love it. So when you twist your left arms, you're gonna swing your arms. When you twist your left arm across, pop up onto your left toes and that'll bring your pelvis a little, maybe a little more into the twist. And then when you take your right arm across, you can pop up onto your right toes and let your pelvis rotate. So you can also keep your feet glued. You can try that and see how it feels in your knees and hips. And if it feels a little jarring, you can pop up onto your toes. And if you want to, if it doesn't feel too disorienting, can follow your gaze like behind you. Practice getting that twist to go all the way up into the head and neck. Now if you like, you can even let your hands come around and slap your kidneys a little. Just get a little movement into your chest and a little pressure. Maybe that slapping onto your torso, maybe that's not the right word, but that tapping or that pressure or whatever it is, just gives you a sense that you're here, feeling into your body. All right, let's slowly stop that. Or you can keep going. And then let's start to, it's like you're walking forward, so swinging the arms, bending the knees, and you might naturally feel like when your left arm swings forward, you're kind of weighted on your left foot and your right knee pops up. And opposite, your right arm swings forwards, your left knee comes up and you're a little light on your left foot. Don't think about it too much, just shift and feel, it's almost like you're speed walking or like walking and really letting your arms carefree move with it. And then you can try like really lifting one leg, opposite leg of the arm. Maybe you're even looking in the opposite direction of that forward arm. And let's stop and just notice heart rate. Maybe you can even feel your own heartbeat here. You might even close your eyes if you feel stable. You can bend your knees a bit. And then let's explore a little bit of shaking. This is a nice practice. So if you've got some stress, who doesn't, in your body, we're just gonna practice like flicking it off. You can flick your fingers, you can shake your shoulders, you can like go for just shaking one arm and then jiggling the other arm, one leg, like maybe no one's looking and that's great. Maybe your whole family's watching you and they'll join in. Maybe they make fun of you for a second, then they're looks like it feels so good that they all start doing it. So you can just shake, 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 breathe with it. I would totally recommend, like, after this, like, if you like this, put on a really good piece of music and do this and see if there's places in your body that don't want to move. And how does it feel? Does it feel safe to move those places? So check that out. Maybe you can let your head go a little. Just get into it for 5, 4. You can jump and shake your shoulders. 3, 2, and 1. And then whatever you're doing, gradually come to a stop. That's the invitation. And feel your body. Feel the vibration. Maybe even close your eyes. Feel your heartbeat. Can say, I am. I'm here. Okay, let's step to the top of the mat. So nice. Circle those arms out and up. Look up and we'll fold through the center. Either take your blocks or your fingertips to the floor. Bend your knees to get there and lengthen out your spine to this halfway lift. And then plant your hands by really bending your knees and step your way back into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, let's roll through to a plank in which you can hold plank or put your knees to the ground. Take a breath and we're gonna lower all the way onto the abdomen. Okay, so walk those legs back, untuck your toes, and stack your hands and place your forehead on your hands and take a couple breaths to feel your breath at the front of your body touching the floor. I like to call this earth breath. Okay, now we're gonna come up and let's explore a little bit of back bending. So your first back bend might be walking your elbows underneath your shoulders and coming up into like a sphinx maybe. Feeling, does it increase your sense of safety in your body to push your pelvis down or tuck your tailbone a little? How does it feel? How does it feel to lift your legs a little and reach out through your big toes? You can also widen your legs. How would it feel to let your arms release back? You can play with your palms moving out or maybe moving in. And explore, it's almost like you're swimming, like you can even imaginary swim and explore these connections that you have in this spine extended position. You can explore really engaging your backside muscles and seeing if that can lift you a little higher. How does your neck feel in this? Let's take a couple more breaths, exploring, reaching, projecting out from center. Lean into your sense of safety and play, and then go to your edge there for 2, 1, and then let's take our hands back down. You can even turn one temple down and melt into the body, into that earth breath again. Beautiful. Okay, we're gonna come on back up. So you choose your bus stop. So it could be this cobra, reaching the legs, reaching the arms, exploring playfully. Maybe you're swimming, maybe you're staying still. And I'm gonna play a little with tipping myself over to the right side. Maybe even coming right over onto my side body. And then rolling slowly back through center. Kind of silly and fun. And then tipping over to the left side. Maybe my palm goes down, maybe my top foot goes down. And then coming back to center. Now I'm going to explore reaching that right arm straight out from my shoulder, pressing into the left hand and rolling onto that outer right hip. Maybe you bend your top leg and tap your toe to the floor. And then come through center into that back bend position, your choice of how you do that. And then left arm out, right hand presses, turn over, right foot to the ground. Now you could keep going with this, up through your back bend and over to the side, up through your back bend and over to the side. Lots of variations you could play with. Maybe when you come up to your back bend, you reach one ankle at a time and come up into a bow. And then you go over to the side. Maybe you stay on the side for a little. So make it yours. Maybe when you reach into a bow, you explore taking both ankles at the same time. See how it feels to move sort of symmetrically back into that back bend. Explore that for a couple more breaths. And then eventually taking yourself back onto your abdomen, stacking your hands and maybe turning one temple down or taking your forehead down and contacting that breath in your abdomen. And can you feel your low back moving with your breath here? Okay, so we're gonna shift ourselves. You take your hands by your low ribs. Maybe you want to stay there, that's fine. Or you can come up and press your hips back towards your heels. They might not come all the way down, they might. And come on up and land on our back to close our practice. So however you do, you can shuffle through to lie on your back. You can also pull those knees in towards your chest. Wobble a little side to side. And circle those knees or find any movements that feel restorative and nourishing. And then for some folks, maybe placing the feet down and resting like that. Maybe the knees fall together in like a constructive rest position. Or you can outstretch one leg and see how that feels on your back. And then try outstretching the other. You can also always put a blanket underneath your head or underneath your thighs. We'll just be here for a few minutes and this integration. You're welcome to close your eyes here and let your jaw get a little softer. You can open up your hands, palms face up. Or for some folks, it's comforting to have them on the abdomen, your hands. So find a place that feels nourishing for you. And as you exhale, notice it's a chance to let more body weight drop into the floor and let go a bit. You're invited to say thank you to your pain. Thank you for showing me. Thank you for your protection. And you're invited to explore your okayness in this moment. Maybe even tell your pain that you're okay right now. If that's true for you, any bit of that that's true for you. And each exhale, you have a chance to let your body weight again recede into the ground, to feel this connection. So you're so welcome to stay here for as long as you have time for, as long as you like. You might take a few bigger breaths here, and as you exhale, wiggle your fingers and your toes and feel all the way into the very edges of your body. Maybe even roll your head side to side and stretch your arms over your head and arc your back. Point your toes. And as you exhale, you're welcome to retract your knees in and curl up in a little ball. Maybe give yourself a big hug. And roll over to a side that makes sense. Push with your hands to help you up to a seat. Let's take our arms out and up. And if it's a gesture that you like with your hands together, you can bring your hands together at your heart, or you might let them rest in your lap. And take a breath in and out, honoring the work that you did today. Thank you so much for being here. May you have peace.